Welcome to Retro Reprise. Today I'm going to talk about the Retro8 controller from Retro-Bit. Now this is a review I've actually tried to do a couple times before, but I got sick last week. Got a couple of scripts here. And check this out. I have a cough suppressant because I am coughing quite a bit. But check these things out. I thought they were going to give me like cough syrup. What they gave me were these things. I'll see if I put that in the camera. I'm still sick, but I'm feeling better. But I tried to record it and it didn't turn out very well. So I thought I would do another video and actually try to get it done right. But while I was sick, I saw an article coming out saying that in my town, we're getting a free play arcade. And it's not going to open until late spring. But I thought I would take you guys along with me because I really want to check out the location and see where it's going to be at. So we're going to go on a little adventure first. We're going to go check out Free Play Arcade, the location, and then we'll head back to the house and I'll do a review of that controller. Well, we made it. It's really not much to look at right now. I'm in the parking lot of Free Play Arcade and don't really have much to report on. I did take a shot of the outside of it. They're still applying for some of their beer licenses and stuff like that, but I'm really excited. So what you're seeing behind me is the building that it's going to be at, and if I come over here, just around the corner, you can see over here, and this is where it's going to be at over here. So there's the notice back there, and yeah, this is it. So I'm really excited. I'm glad to see that this is something that's going to be coming to my town. So hopefully this will be something that it'll grow in popularity. We do have another arcade that's in town that's just not very good, so I'm really looking forward to this. They said they're going to have about 25 games, and they're going to be doing, you know, of course, beer and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to take some time, check it out, see what it was going to be like, see where it was at, so I'm not having to fight the crowds when it does finally open. But yeah, where's my camera at? Oh, there it is. There's the camera. Anyway, so yeah, this is something that I'm really excited about. I can't wait to actually go through and finally have a good arcade to go through. I don't know where the camera's at. I can't see, I'm sort of day blind. So, yeah, that's it. So, let's move on. There's another place I want to stop by real quick, sort of a hidey hole for games. And I'm going to see if there's any kind of games to score. So I went to my little place that I was going to go to, and they didn't have anything, but I did stop by one other place, and I did find, this is Syphon Filter 2, so I can do it without all the glare there, and I got it for $1. CDs are in good shape, and this whole thing was intact until I was walking out the door, and it slipped out of the bag and cracked on the steps. So the bottom of it is busted, and the top is, I don't know if you can see that crack or not. This was like in great shape until I dropped it. It's off to the house. Let's take a look at that controller, the Retro8 controller from Retro-Bit. Well, thanks for going on my little adventure with me. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was actually kind of fun to go check out the location of Free Play Arcade, but here's what you came for, and this is what we're going to be talking about, the Retro8 controller from Retro-Bit. This is an NES style controller, so work with any of your NES or NES compatible clone consoles. So let's get into this thing. Here's the controller itself, and you guys maybe have seen this design before. There have been a couple of other controllers that have come out recently. There's one with Mega Man on it, and that has both an NES connection and a USB. But this is just the straight, regular NES controller, and we're going to get into some of the details here. So first of all, first thing I always like to cover is the plastics. How are the plastics on this thing? Well, they're okay. I wouldn't say they're fantastic. There's a little bit of give on the plastic itself, and the cabling, the wire seems a little thin. This is something that's really common with a lot of these modern third-party console companies that are making clone consoles or even these types of controllers. They usually cheap out on the plastics, and they definitely did that on this. They're not horrible. The plastic isn't horrible, and just because it gives doesn't mean it's bad plastic, but it is something to take note of. This isn't the same quality that you're going to find with the original NES controller. With that being said, I don't know if this is going to have that longevity that you may be looking for. So if you're looking for a controller that'll last you 30 years like the NES controller, I'm not sure this would actually cut it. But overall, it's okay as far as the quality of the plastics and the cabling. Now this is a 6-foot cable. It's your standard size for a lot of the cables with it, with these types of controllers, so it's not extra long, kind of like the Hyperkin Cadet one, which I think was like 9 or 10 feet. It's just a regular 6-foot cable. So let's get into some of the details here. We'll get into some more of the interesting stuff. The D-pad. This is something that I really like with the D-pad here. I'll try to have the camera pick it up. The D-pad, yeah, it's really messing with the colors. The D-pad is convex. As you can see, it's a convex D-pad. There we go. And honestly, there's always a little bit, usually even if you look at the original NES controller, there's a bit of a convex, or at least there's like some down angles. But with this controller, the D-pad's slightly different. It doesn't have the arrows on it like other D-pads do, but this has been really pleasant to play with and very responsive. So I've been fairly impressed with the D-pad itself. Let's move on to the select and start. If you look at it and if you take notice, they've moved the select and start up a little bit. So normally where the Retro-Bit logo is at is where you normally see a select and start. But with this one, they've moved them up a little bit. I don't really have too much of an opinion about that. It's okay. It's not fantastic. It's not amazing, but it is there. But they're a little bit loose, not super tight like you're used to seeing on a regular NES controller. Now the big thing that we're going to get to here is the A and B buttons. Now these are offset and kind of in an opposite direction. You would expect them to angle down, like how my finger's pointed, instead of angling up like that. And that's probably been a point of contention for some people. It's probably, an aesthetic-wise, keeps people from buying this controller. Now, something to also take note of is that these buttons are a little bit bigger than original NES buttons, and they're convex. There we go. These buttons are convex, and they're a little bit bigger than the original NES controller buttons. And because of that, while this seems like a feature that you really wouldn't normally care about, I found the response to be really good. In fact, my overall play experience with this controller has been phenomenal. I feel like every command that I'm putting through the controller has not only worked, but worked really well. Games like Ninja Gaiden, phenomenal on a game like that. Quick response. Any mistakes I made were on my own. It wasn't because of this controller. And I thought it was just, this is actually just a really pleasant controller to play with. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, and something from one of the newer companies, I could really recommend the Retro-Bit Retro8 controller. So what's my overall thought, my grade on this thing? I'm going to give it a solid B. The only thing that's keeping this from being an A for sure would be the quality of plastics. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be something that's going to last you 20, 30 years. I don't even know if it'll last you 5 years. But the quality of the plastic's okay, but the actual design of the controller and the way it operates and performs is really good. Now, manufacturing quirks aside, mine has worked fantastic, so I haven't had any issues with this one, and this has turned into a controller I really enjoy using. So I think that most people who are looking for sort of a different controller, I think they will really like this. But that's the Retro8 controller. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm trying a couple things different with the channel. Took you guys on a little adventure, so I'm trying maybe a little bit of a blog or a vlog style video. Hopefully you guys really enjoy that. And let me know in the comments. Of course, give it a thumbs up if you do like it. Do any of you guys have a Retro8 controller? Let me know what you think. I'm really anxious to hear what other people have to say about this controller, because I don't see a lot of people talking about this one. I think this is actually kind of maybe a hidden gem. If you have a good working controller, I think you really will enjoy this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Retro Reprise.